Advocate Mngomezulu dealt with Judge Ratha accordingly, dealt with the state accordingly. There is something that I did not notice, and you know what? After listening to Advocate Mngomezulu arguing this, I thought to myself, you know what? We need to revisit this because this is very, very important for our liking, right? So you're definitely gonna like what I'm about to share with you. Advocate Mngomezulu pinpoint quite a number of things, right? But number one is that during a trial within a trial, you, my lord, you made an inception, right? You relaxed the law and you say people are allowed to bring evidence within a trial, new evidence within a trial. So people were allowed, right? You made that exception, but you said that that is only applicable to the trial within a trial. Now, as of now, we are back in the main trial, and the state continuously brings new evidence into this case, right? And and he points out and he said, listen, for instance, Advocate Mngomezulu, Advocate Ramsepile, came up with this type of you gotta hear what it says, that okay, so he accuses the state about certain thing, right? Then you went and did more investigation to rebut what he said, right? And then I said to myself, there's a problem with this. Just this alone, there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because it creates more problems than solutions. I'll give an example about the problem that it creates. Problem number one, it creates a situation where we can have a trial that never ends. Because, hey guys, this is very, very serious. Not only is it unfair to the accused, but it just creates a trial that can never end. I'm telling you. That's why we've got number of witnesses, and the witnesses are like, guys, this is Judge Ratha is already presiding over an unfair trial, and he's busy allowing that. But nevertheless, just allow me, give me time as I am embarking on this journey. I'm gonna show you something. Don't worry. And at the end of this, I'm gonna make you listen to Advocate Mngomezulu himself explaining this and exposing Judge Ratha as well as Advocate Baloi, Gininda, and everyone. I'm gonna show you that. Give me time. But before I continue, I put it to you that you do the following. If you are not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Come on, good people. Because to subscribe, it is free. To like the video, it is free. To comment in the comment section below, it is free of charge. To click the notification bell, it is free of charge. To share this video, it is free of charge. To watch this video until the end, it is free of charge. Also, good people, come on, to watch the ads, it's free of charge, and that's how you financially contribute to this YouTube channel. Speaking about financially contribution to the channel, you can become a member of this YouTube channel from as little as 20 Rand a month. You can also use the super thanks button. In case you don't want to do that, guys, there is a way where you can use my media company banking details to donate to the channel, and you know what I'm saying, will bring you more, and also guys want to buy more equipment. So the power is in your hands. Please do the honorable thing as we proceed. It's very important, very significant what Advocate Mngomezulu is raising here. In a situation, in a normal trial, a trial that is fair to the state, to the accused, to the defense, to the judge, and to the community at large, or to the public at large. In a situation where the trial in itself is fair, this is what usually happens. Like, you remember the other time I spoke about the fact that people must submit information in an affidavit and they must submit their witnesses, right? It means that the state does its investigation. Once it's done, then the trial starts. You know what it prevents? It prevents a situation where, think about it this way. If the state is investigating the case as it goes and they are busy rebutting things, clearly the state does not have a case. They are just trying to find something. That's the point number one. It clearly exposes Gininda and his crew look, Baloi and the judge himself that the state does not have a case. You are presiding over an unfair trial. Let me prove another thing. If, for instance, the state is allowed to, because Advocate Baloi is even bold at this, right? I say people are writing petitions and open letters. The one that people must start writing is the one of Advocate Baloi. The fact that he presided over, he decided to take on case 636 instead of 375, and then he knew the weakness of case 636. That alone, it tells us that he is incompetent, right? It tells us that there's something fishy about him, but we're not there today. Let's proceed. So the fact that they're investigating, it means that the defense themselves, whatever the state is saying, they will go and do their investigation and come and rebut what the state says. And then whatever the defense says, the state will go and do its investigation and come and rebut what the defense said. Do you know that you will eventually run a series in a soap where, I'll give an example. You will be told that Uzalo season 8. And then you ask, when did Uzalo season 1 start? I make an example. They say in 2014, 2015. So why? It's a continuous thing. It's a serious thing. It never ends. Every time we just get introduced to new element. But that the thing that we are up to here, it will never end because, I'm protecting myself. Whenever there's an accusation against me, I'll go and do an investigation and come and rebut yours, and then come and put you under bus, and then you do the same thing. Do you think that, logically, do you think that we'll ever come to an end of this trial if the state itself, they are allowed to just continue to do investigation and nothing happens to them? Do investigation as we go. Do you think that we will ever come to an end? I'm telling you, it means that Advocate Baloi is still going to continue introduce. I wouldn't say 100 witnesses because he's already introduced others on top of the 100, and we can expect more on top of the ones that he has already introduced. That is why I can promise you that the state they will never come to a point where they provide all the necessary information to the defense, because they want to create a door. They want to leave that door open so that they can continuously introduce new information. Why? Because they want to keep rebutting everything that is new, right? Then it displays the incompetence from an advocate assigned by the National Prosecuting Authority. Therefore, it brings the name of the National Prosecuting Authority into disrepute. Yet nothing will happen to Advocate Baloi. We know for a fact because it appears like they are very scared of him. Just like the same thing, the conduct of Judge Ratha allowing himself to preside over an unfair trial, right? We know for a fact that they are scared of him. Nothing is going to happen because if the man was really not scared of his superiors, he wouldn't have behaved the way he's behaving in court. So it shows that they're scared of him, and there's nothing that's going to happen. We can see that. And then the third one, Gininda and his team presiding over and creating those ones. They're not presiding; they are creating an unfair trial, right? So their case, Bona, they would be charged twice. They are the ones who are creating the trial, busy with the investigation as we go, right? But their conduct themselves, it brings the name of the South African Police Service into disrepute. It belittles the intelligence in this country. It also, what it does, it creates a situation where then the image of the South African Police Service, the credibility thereof is being undermined, and people will have less confidence in the South African Police Service. Why? Because of the situation created by Gininda and his crew. So what Advocate Mngomezulu is saying here, it is very, 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 very deep. This is very, 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 very important, right? If you understand what connotation or what negative connotation does it have to the South African Police Service, right? When we talk about these people, we're talking about people who are involved in a situation where they were busy creating and calling police and everything, trying to pay. I'll give an example. when accused number 3 was arrested over the Alexander Telsey Boss killing, and when he was convicted, they took that gun and put it into a ballistic test. It came back negative as far as other cases are concerned. Then at Brigadier Gininda, wanting to manufacture evidence, then they come and get Mangena to come and rebut the evidence of that police. The police said no. The police that arrested accused number 3, they said no. We tested the gun, it came negative. Now these ones, do you see what they're trying to? They are trying to bring as much police as possible just to come and rebut evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence, right? So what Advocate Mngomezulu said here, it is very important, and I believe that if there are people watching this case, especially from the National Prosecuting Authority, because they've got an interest in this case, right? The NDPP, they've got an interest in this case, right? They've got those two, they've got a direct interest. The South African Police Service Management, they've got a direct interest in this case. The judicial in South Africa at large, not even in the Gauteng division. The Gauteng division, they are more involved, but the judicial, they are also more involved, right? The national, they are involved in this case, right? I'm not going to talk about the correctional service. If you're looking at these 4 entities, right? Look, NDPP, National Prosecuting Authority, South African Police Service, Judicial. These are people who are sealing people's destiny, right? These 4, right? So you're going to say the job of a National Prosecuting Authority is to provide us with an advocate who will stand before a judge and argue on behalf of the police. The police, their responsibility is to arrest people and bring them before the court and bring that docket take the docket to the NPA, right? So you can see the National Prosecuting Authority will give you an advocate. The NDPP, I'm not too sure about. I cannot define the exact role in this whole thing, right? And then the judicial, they are to provide a judge that is supposed to weigh the evidence between the defense and the state about the accused, right? So you are looking at this, these institutions, and you ask yourself a question. The behavior of the current individuals that represent all of these institutions, right? Is it a behavior that you are really happy about it, or you regret sending them over this thing, right? Maybe it explains one of the reasons why they did not want this case on a national television, because they knew that this thing carries a lot of loopholes, and they wanted to convict these people to the best of their ability as much as they can, so that they can get over everything, and once they are done with everything, their shenanigans doesn't get exposed. Quite alarming that nothing hasn't happened to people who show signs of who lack credibility, like all the people that represent all these institutions. It's quite questionable to say what will happen to God Gininda, right? What is going to happen to the man? That man is very untouchable, guys. I'm telling you. If he decides that he's very annoyed over a YouTuber like me who analyzed this case, right? He will come after you, right? What will happen to Advocate Baloi, right? By the way, I'm told Advocate Baloi is somehow he's got a very serious position, and I think it's number 2. I'll give you guys the correct information about Advocate Baloi, but he's got a very serious an office there. Besides just being a prosecutor that goes to court, he's got a position, right? What will happen to the man himself? Because even the way he does things, you can see that man is untouchable. So, like here, they brought us people who are untouchable. Look, the judge himself, the way he behaves, he doesn't care, right? Because he doesn't behave like a judge that respects people who are above him. If he does, he wouldn't have conducted himself the way he does, right? So, what advocate? I haven't even dealt with some of the element that was that advocate Mngomezulu proved in this one, but you can look at this and you can see that, you know what, this is getting more serious, this is getting more dangerous, right? This is getting out of hand, and we can all see that. So I'm saying to people, before I allow you guys to listen to the video of advocate, or before I allow you to listen to the video of advocate Mngomezulu here, you're gonna do that shortly. I'm saying to people, Writing to Judge Ratha and asking him to reflect upon his behavior was not enough, right? The South African Police Service, the management, they need an open letter to look at the people that they sent to investigate this case, right? Such as Brigadier Gininda and his crew. They need to be looked at, and we want the South African Police Service to tell us if they are happy with that. What they are seeing is that they represent. Okay, let me say it this way, and let me slow down a bit. You know, the open letter that was addressed to Judge Ratha Mogoatleng, it just asked a critical question to say he must reflect. But I feel like if the next time people decide to write an open letter or decide to write a petition, whatever they want to write, look, let's start with the judge. You need to ask also the body, because lawyers have got the LPC that governs them, right? It looks at their behavior. Builders have got theirs. It's called NHBR. What? I forgot the right abbreviation of it, right? So each and every look, industry, teachers have got theirs, nurses have got theirs. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There's always a body that looks after that profession. We want to hear from the body that looks at the judge conduct. And we want to hear from them. Are you happy? We just want to, yes or no, full stop. Don't tell us, don't be diplomatic. We want to hear from you. Are you happy with what you are seeing? You, tell us, tell us. Are you, when you look at the judge, is that a representation of the judges? Is that a good representation? We're not talking about, because we're not saying the man shouldn't have mistakes. We are saying, right, overall, because we conclude that you are this person based on the consistency in your doing. So if there's consistency in how Judge Ratha Mogoatleng behaves, then we're going to conclude that you are like this, right? So I'm saying, on the basis of overall review of his conduct, is that a good representation of the judicial system? Advocate Baloi, look, the NPA has to be asked this question. When you write an open letter to the NPA, you must ask the NPA about Baloi, right? You must ask the NPA this question. When you look at Advocate Baloi, is that a good representation of the NPA now? Right. Are you happy with what we are seeing? Tell us. We want to know. Are you happy, completely happy with what you are seeing? Right? When you write to the police, South African Police Service, you must ask them this simple question. When you look at Gininda and his crew, and you look at their behavior in the Mayiwa case, are you happy with what you are seeing? Is that a representation of yourself? Do you see yourself in in Gininda and his crew, and you be like, we are very proud of them, right? We just want a simple question: yes or no, full stop. Don't give us more diplomatic answers. Yes or no. Is that a good reflection of what South African Police Service is all about? From look at the characteristics that they're exhibiting in court, is that the good characteristics? Is that a good image? You know, when you're looking at the interpreters in court, we can't complain about the interpreters, right? We were complaining there and there, but you just can't complain. If we were to ask the same question to the people that are in charge of interpreters in court, we'll be like, "Hey, these ones, remove them. We don't have a problem with them," right? You know what I'm saying? NDPP, I cannot clearly outline their thing. I don't know, but there's just one question I have with them. The NDPP, if you remember vividly, they confirmed that they will decide whether or not they will bring into effect case 375. They will decide after the outcome of this current case. I want to ask them, don't they regret their decision? Looking at everything that is happening, don't they regret that decision? Wouldn't they? Isn't maybe better to find another alternative to this? Because I mean, honestly speaking, what we are watching there is just a mediocre. And I kept saying to you guys, and I've been saying this, you know, when you look at how best can I say this? There are people who are internationally invested in this case. Whatever they are seeing there, they think it's a representation of South Africa. So when tourists doesn't want to come to South Africa, don't blame them. what they saw in the Meyiwa case, was it encouraging that if they were to be killed in this country, justice will be served to their loved ones? Well, did it encourage them to visit the country? I'm just showing you another aspect to say, whatever is happening in that case of Senzo Meyiwa, it's not just about the institution that I've just named here, but it's also about the reputation of this country. People who are watching outside of this country. So that case, guys, it carries a lot of weight. It carries a lot of weight. And we're not going to come here and lie in defense of the reputation and the character of this country or the image of this country. No, we're not going to lie. We're going to tell it as it is. Because if we lie, we are promoting the behavior of these organizations that have got that are being represented in court. We are creating a situation where, or an environment, a thriving environment for them to think that whatever they are doing in court is right. So we are not going to enable their behavior there. We're going to tell it as it is. But it's upon them to reflect whether or not is that a good representation of themselves. Because there's nothing that supersedes that. Right? When you say, guys, let me not go there. Let me not go there. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. Advocate Mngomezulu, he did a very incredible job here. Very, very important job. Take a look at. Look, I want you to listen to what he said. Take a look at this.
Before you respond, may I be permitted to make further submissions, madam?
Yes, I'm listening.
Oh yes, thank you, my lord. My lord, I agree with my colleague, Advocate Msholo. As I've indicated earlier, really, I would submit with due respect, whatever information that comes after a full disclosure, after the trial has commenced, it's ambush. My lord, it is ambush in the sense that the state is the dominus litis. The defense cannot dictate the nature and the manner of evidence to be presented and the witnesses to be called. But the court, I wish the court to be mindful of the evidence that the state is eliciting at this stage. The state, as the evidence has already been tendered before this court, is trying to refute or rebut the evidence of an alibi. Number two is trying to rebut the evidence that these accused know each other. This evidence that is led in this court by these witnesses relating to the bank statements, relating to the cell phones, it's something that happened after the state brought this or brings this evidence, which occurred after the incident of 2014. I'll say this slowly so that I would be understood to say, during the inception of this trial, even if I was not there, but I followed the records, none of these accused persons tendered a plea explanation in terms of Section 115. No one. The only state, it's a fishing expedition by the state now to say they listened to the version that was put by my colleague Mr. Ramsepidi in one of the witnesses to say accused number one was not in Gauteng on the day Senzo was killed. Now the state wants to focus on that. They now deviate from the elements that they need to prove on what happened in 2014. If the state was confident enough that they have something to say before this court, they should have led evidence. I'm not dictating, but they should have led evidence in relation to, for instance, my lord, let me just put it into practical perspective on what was delivered or was said before this court. Mboto read the affidavit of accused number 1. Rapadu read the confession of accused number 2. It dealt with the communication where Kelly asked, where are you? Those are records that are relevant. I'm in possession of the 205s for Kelly Kuman. And the state, I'm going to show the state that there was no such a communication. That is direct evidence. I'm not sucking a thumb to say I'm looking for the number for Ntuli, for Mapisa, for whoever. I've got the records for Kelly Kuman on the date of when Senzo was killed. They're busy with 2018, 2021. We are not really interested. That's not our defense. The main defense during Section 106 was that it's a bad denial. They denied having killed Senzo. So now they want to create their own defense because of what my colleague Ramsipidi said. Accused number 1 was not there. They're busy now. That's why one will be tempted to say they are cooking. They are manufacturing day in, day out, so that it can fit what the state wants to do. Because I can tell this court now, they don't have a case. I'm not arguing the case, but I don't see the purpose of this witness to be here. Number 2, this disclosure, what time do we have to go through? Because if you consult with the client, sentence by sentence, transaction by transaction, is this fair? Is it fair trial to this accused? Moreover, our defense, we blatantly denied, vehemently denied the involvement of this accused in the killing of Senzo Meyo. I even put it on my cross-examination or in one of the investigating office. And I still have to prove that that evidence in this court. Now they're busy fitting us with 2018, 2020, 2021. We don't even have time to consult. This is pure ambush.
Okay, thank you.
My Lord, may I say this for the last time? When I get into this trial, it was trial within a trial. The court made it an exception that discovery can be made during a trial within a trial, not in a main trial. Now we're getting everything here. Thank you, my Lord.
Thanks.
If I might just briefly respond, my Lord. Well, firstly, we've indicated there was this disc, my Lord, that was applied to the defense some time ago last year already. And this information that Advocate Msholola says it's incomplete, the investigating officers indicated to me that it's contained in the disc. So all that we are doing, my Lord, is to supply the defense with hard copies of what was contained.
Yeah, okay, so that I understand you clearly.
Yes, in
that
the disc.
hard disc was in October last year.
Yes, if not earlier.
And are you saying now that hard disk contains all the evidence which Mr. Hoos is supposed to give before this court?
No, not the additional.
Not the additional.
No, not the additional evidence, my Lord. That is the first thing, and secondly, my Lord, I hear the submissions of Mr. Mngomezulu, but in the nature of a trial, the state supplies all the information that it has at the beginning of the trial, but during the trial, propositions are put to the witnesses, and the state needs to follow up on those propositions. And this is merely this information that was gathered as a result of those propositions, as Mr. Mngomezulu pointed out that no explanation was finished. So as the trial unfolds, the state gets to know what the defense of the accused is, and is on the basis that now information is being gathered, and that is why this information is being tendered. But just briefly regarding the submission by Advocate Mnisi, that there's a new information on the number of accused number 3. When we adjourned on Tuesday, Advocate Munyeki, who was standing in for him, did consult with accused number 3 on this new number, and he came back to us regarding that number. So that issue was canvassed by Advocate Munyeki. I will not dwell. I think it's only fair if one needs time to prepare, and the court has always been reasonable, has bent over backwards to accommodate the defense to say we need more time. We request time instead of trying to cast aspersions on colleagues. And the state has always been reasonable. If the defense needs more time, we will concede to that request.
Okay. My worry is, Mr. House, you say you're not available next week.
No, my lord. Next week I'm not available from the...
You're available the week after?
Yes, my lord. That's
Wat
correct.
sal die datum wees? Aanstaande week?
Ja.
Wat sal die datum wees?
Dus 4th, let me just check.
I think it should be around the 10th.
6th, 13th, I think.
No, it should be around the 10th of May.
May.
Yes, should be.
13th.
It's actually the 13th of May.
13th of May.
Yes,
13th of May,
Yes.
from that week.
Yes, yes,
But
ma'am.
I must respond to what Mr. said. I just wanted to say that is not correct. When we spoke...
When he says you consulted, he's not
no,
correct.
I did not consult.
Okay, fine. Okay, there is additional information, obviously, which has been elicited through the cross-examination, I'm told, of Mr. House. And Mr. House had to go and prepare for that additional information because, as we all know, Mr. House took over the analysis of these numbers which are impugned or otherwise from Colonel Steyn. So I take it you went and reviewed the whole disk or evidence which was unearthed by Colonel Steyn.